So today I'm going to talk about Elsiefest, which I went to this year. It was pretty great. I did have a little bit of a rocky start to it, and that is actually why it's taken me so long to record this video, or at least part of the reason. Part of it is that I'm just really busy during the week. I don't know how anyone gets things done during the work week. Anyway, I was hesitant to make this video because of that rocky start to Elsiefest. I was worried about doing anything, saying anything about anything negative, because I have this fear that if I were to do that, then people might see this video and they might be like, oh, look at her, she's so annoying, she's so whiny, she's just complaining all the time, like, get over yourself, we hate you. Yikes. But I convinced myself that, you know what? No, I'm going to talk about my life, because I started this YouTube channel to talk about my life, to have some sort of way to vent or talk about things and not just bottle things up all the time. And you know, it's not like anyone actually watches these, so whatever, right? I don't know. It's all part of this whole repression angst that I have. I'll probably talk about that some other time, maybe in another video, or I might chicken out. But the point of this video is Elsiefest. So let me tell you this tale. Elsiefest this year, instead of starting earlier and going all day like it has the past 2 years, this year it was going to start at 6. Doors open at 5. Now, the first time that I went to Elsiefest, in year number 1, I remember we were still online to get in. Like, we were standing there at the ticket booth, like, having our tickets scanned. Or a couple people away from having our tickets scanned. But the guy was having trouble with his scanner on the person in front of us, and it was taking a while, and we could hear Lea Salonga starting to sing. And I was like, oh no, she's singing! Like, we're not in yet! So I didn't want that to happen this year. So I was like, I would rather get there super, super early than have that happen. I was really, and you know, I'm all nervous about things, so I get places early a lot. Or I end up being a little bit late and I freak out the entire time. Or I think I'm going to be late and I'm freaking out the entire time, and then when I finally get there, it turns out that I'm early. And then I'm waiting for other people to show up and I'm freaking out because what if I'm at the wrong place? Anyway, that's beside the point. So I wanted to get there early. Doors open at 5. The very first set up is Jeremy Jordan, who, you know, I definitely did not want to miss any of his set for sure. So I had planned to take a 2:45 bus, which was scheduled to arrive at the Port Authority by around like 3:40-ish, which is, you know, plenty of time to hop on a subway uptown and then, you know, make my way on foot through Central Park to get to the concert by 5, right? So there was a small complication in that the last time that I had gone to the city before that, which was not that long beforehand, it wasn't the normal bus stop, because there was construction going on the exit onto the highway. And because of that construction, the bus stop was sort of up the street a bit. It was still within view, but it was just up the street. And at that exit right now, it's still down. Like the bridge, the overpass is gone. It's just not there. I found this out when I was trying to come home from the Renaissance Fair from my last video, and I went on to the exit to get back to my house, and like there was nothing. There was just a wall. There was no road. And I went past it like 3 times. And I kept coming back to it like, how do I get home? Because there's just a wall. I was like, what is this? Am I imagining things? Am I in Narnia? What happened? Like, my entire life has been a lie. Anyway, I knew that the bridge was still not existing. So I took that to mean that construction is still an impeding problem. I know that the bus still, like, it no longer, when it's coming back to our location from the highway, it no longer takes that exit. Now it takes a different exit and then has to turn around and come up through local roads. So I was like, all right, construction's still going on. I'll go to the stop that you're supposed to be at for the construction. We got there early, right? And we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And hey, look, there's the bus going right past us to the usual stop, not the altered construction stop. Oops. So, okay, this is pretty upsetting, right? The next bus after that isn't going to get into the city until like 4:40ish. And then you still have to make your way from there to the middle of Central Park. So, that's pretty stressful. I'm like really stressed. Jeremy Jordan is going first and I don't want to miss a second. And like, I mean, because he's honestly, he's kind of like a large part of the reason that I was looking forward to Elsiefest. I was like, I really want to see Jeremy Jordan. Oh my God. And everyone else too, obviously, but all right, so, but there's nothing for that though, right? So we make our way to the stop for the second bus, which is at a different location than the first bus's stop. And we get there like at least 7 minutes early. And the second bus never comes. It just doesn't show up. We were waiting and waiting. The live tracking app that my brother pulled up on his phone, which worked great for the first bus, by the way, like, it says the second bus is like 1 minute away. It's like, it's arrived. Okay, now it's left. And we were like, standing there, like, it's not, where is it? That's not true. It's nowhere. So we waited there for like an extra half an hour, just in case it was super late. Like, there was a nice man whose house was right near the stop, and he like offered to drive us to Willowbrook Mall to try to catch a bus there. But we were kind of like, honestly, the bus we would catch there would just be the same one we would catch up here anyway. The third bus now, right? But so we trudged back to the first stop again. This time we went to the proper one, and we waited for a third bus. And like, at this point, right, I am beside myself because we're now going to be 2 hours later than planned. The bus isn't going to arrive at the Port Authority until like 5:40ish. We'll almost definitely miss at least the beginning of Jeremy Jordan's set. And, he posted on Instagram, like, I'm going first, so don't be late. And I failed him. I failed you, Jeremy Jordan. That's what I was thinking. So we were there. I was like, Our mom called, and she was saying, oh, you should actually move because I'm afraid that for some reason bus number 3 isn't going to stop at this stop. It's like you have to move to a different stop, which, fine, like, I was freaked out by that because I was like, are you kidding me? But so we went to the other stop, which, unlike the one we were originally at, this stop has no bench or anything. It's like, whatever. I'd rather have to stand than like miss the bus for a third time. Live tracking app is like, bus is going to arrive in 4 minutes. And then it says the bus will arrive in 9 minutes. And then it says the bus will arrive in 12 minutes. it just keeps on getting pushed back. And the bus is obviously late. And I was growing increasingly distressed. So finally, the bus rolls up at 4:57. All right? It's like the Elsiefest doors open at 5. So, I'm like, okay, well, we're on our way. This is good. Like, we're at least we're on our way. Even though I was like, the doors are opening right now and I'm just getting on the bus, like, FML. But whatever. So at this point, I start, like, checking the Elsiefest tag on Twitter for progress updates, right? Darren, Chris, and Jeremy Jordan are drinking tea. People are singing One Day More to warm up and excite the crowd. I'm like, I can't believe I'm missing this. Trundling along, we finally hit the area pretty close to the Lincoln Tunnel. It's like, oh, right, we're almost there. And then we stop. Like, just complete standstill. Because there's so much traffic right in front of the Lincoln Tunnel. It's so slow. It's creeping along at like, I don't even know, like 0.2 miles per hour or something. It's so slow. It's like we were sitting in that little section. I kid you not, it was about 40 minutes that we were sitting there. It was terrible. I'm still in New Jersey. Twitter is telling me that Jeremy Jordan has started singing Shiska Goddess. Like, my panic has given way to depressed resignation. We enter the Lincoln Tunnel. Partway through, the speed picks up again, thank God. We finally get off the bus at the Port Authority, right? Jeremy Jordan has finished singing at last, and now he's in the middle of Semi-Charmed Life. And, like, Michael, who's my brother, he was like, what? He was like, I really would have liked to see him doing that one in person. And I was like, oh, like, of course. So we go down to the subway platform. Jeremy Jordan has started singing a Disney medley. Like, I am just sagging miserably where I stand. Right? But by the time that we finally make it to the stage, Jeremy, obviously, is long done. The act that went after him, the set that went after him, completely done. As we are approaching the edge of the stage, we can hear Lea Michele belting Don't Rain on My Parade. We search in the dark for the venue entrance. Like, we have to walk around. We see all these people sitting there just listening, which is nice. I'm really glad that it's, a great spot in Central Park where people could just sit on the benches and listen even if they don't have tickets. It's really great. Anyway, she had made it through maybe this time by the time that we finally managed to make our way in. But we're there. It's disheartening that we missed so much, but we're there. Lea Michele's still singing. We can catch the rest of her set and everyone after her. All right. So it's pretty crowded, obviously, right? I don't know if I would call myself short, really. I mean, I have in the past called myself short because other people call me short. But then one time I told someone that I was short and they were like, you're not short. Like, my wife is shorter than you. I'm like, okay, sorry, never mind. Anyway, it's not that easy for me to see. I can't really see anything, right? Because there's people. So every time that Lea finishes a song, Mike and I kind of shift around in the crowd. Like, we're trying to find a better vantage point. At the end of the last song in her set, we go to shift again. Like, he's like, okay, you want to move further left? We're like, all right, let's try it. But then a guy who was standing next to us was like, you can't come over here. He's like, someone is standing here. And you just blocked these 2 young ladies from seeing anything just now. He's like, if you wanted good spots, maybe you shouldn't have come so late. Yeah, and, of course, like, I'm just like a sad face weenie. So after that, I had to flee back to the outskirts of the crowd. Like, I felt so terrible about accidentally blocking some poor girls. And I was so down about that. I did not cheer up through like 2 great Alan Cumming numbers. But after that, it was great. Obviously, heard most of Lea Michelle's set, even though some of it was when like we weren't inside yet, as she obviously sounds great, you know, and she and Darren did a duet, and that was all great. I mentioned that I was kind of depressed through the beginning of Alan Cumming's set, but, you know, he is such an amazing performer. Like, even though I didn't know a bunch of his songs, like, he just made them very exciting to watch and to hear. And his anecdotes were really amusing and they drew you in. And, like, honestly, it was that, like, his storytelling that was able to, you know, perk me up from my depression over being scolded by that random dude. Like, that was really exciting. After Alan Cumming, there was somebody who was singing along to stuff to give the band a break, I guess. He was encouraging the crowd to sing along. That was really great. Old favorites, like, you know, like You're Just Too Good to Be True, from Frankie Valli, you know, Jersey Boys. It was really great to see everyone singing around. And they had Miss Saigon on, which was really fun. We had seen that earlier. Michael told me later, he was like, oh, seeing them again reminded me how much I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good when we went to see it. And then this part, it was sort of like a really long Darren Criss set where he kept having guests on to have their own numbers in the middle, but then a lot of times maybe he'd be there like doing the guitar backup or something for them. And, you know, Darren Criss, he's so good at just like making you feel really comfortable and welcomed, and just like he makes it into a great atmosphere. It's very fun and exciting and like a community. Remember the MC was talking about introducing Darren, and he was like, oh, Darren, you know, he's a close friend, he's very into Broadway. It's like we're like each other's dates to shows, he's always coming over to play music. He's like, and then I realized that I'm not that special because every one of you is his close friend. He does that with every single one of you. He's kind of a slut that way, but we love him anyway. I was like, well, that's one way to put it, I guess. And, you know, of course he did all the great songs, Circle of Life, Cough Syrup, Teenage Dream, original music, which is all great. Alohi Cavallo came on. She sang How Far I'll Go from Moana. And she kind of sassed him because he was kind of like, oh, I always make sure to have some sort of princess here at Elsiefest. You know, like, you know, in LC1, there was Leia, who was Jasmine in Mulan, and Laura, who was Hammerstein's Cinderella, Rogers Hammerstein's Cinderella. At LC2, I know he did a duet with the original Anastasia, you know. Anyway, and although he was like, not a princess, I'm a heroine. It was funny. She also came back later because he did a song with his brother from their new album. He was like, this song requires a 3-part harmony, so come back. That was great. We had Norm Lewis. He's I guess he's done a lot of baritone roles like Javert and such. So he came on and he sang his song. Remember, there's a chorus of just like what's going on, and he like started listing all of the places where there have been shootings recently. And like a lot of things were like that, is like Alan Cumming was talking about things like how he was saying on Tuesday, which at this point is now past. It's like in Mississippi, like it's going to be legal to fire people if they're LGBT, it's going to be legal for doctors to refuse to treat people if they are LGBT. It's like, which is crazy. It was like, but it was nice that they were all using this platform to kind of do this call to arms, this, we have to come together. I know now, I didn't know at the time, obviously, but I know now, also that even Jeremy Jordan, during Shiska Goddess, changed one of the lines from about, the powerful connection to your firearm collection, right? And he changed it to be like, if that were, I'd say, get out, we're through. It's hot topic. Anyway, Ingrid Michaelson also was on. I guess she's in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet. And so she and Darren did like a Whole New World duet. And then she sang Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors, because she said that it was like her dad's really loved that song or something like that. And they duetted to her famous love song, the sweater one. And Darren said that when he was on Glee, he was doing an interview, and they asked him what he thought was the greatest love song ever written, and he said that one. And she was kind of like, what? Oh, great, when you were 12. Anyway. Oh, also, obviously, it was kind of like, Elsiefest is also about previewing new stuff, which is true. That's something I really love about Elsiefest. Like, the very first one, Leslie Odom Jr. was there. He was singing, like, Room Where It Happens from Hamilton and stuff. And this was kind of like Hamilton was on the rise in awareness. Like, a lot of people kind of knew about it, but it hadn't actually hit that, like, crazy peak that it did pretty much right after that. Like, in the month or so after that. Last year, which I didn't go to, but I saw on the internet, Pascal and Paul were there. And they were like, we're gonna have someone sing this song. We've been working on this thing. Like, this is the act one from Nally from the show we've been working on. It's, like, it's called Dear Evan Hansen. Anyway, so at this Elsiefest, there's a song. Darren was like, okay, Pascal and Paul, they've been working on something. Even longer, they've been working on Dear Evan Hansen and La La Land. Like, there's this film coming soon, and here to perform is the person who's actually going to be singing it in the film. So, she sang, and she, like, brought the house down, and I was kind of like, well, that's getting the Oscar. Anyway, Jenna Ushkowitz came on. That was extremely exciting. I was like, oh my god, it's like a little Glee reunion. They duetted Granger Danger. She was Draco, he was Ron. It was beautiful. He was like, she just learned this half an hour ago. But she even did that little choreography where Draco, like, hides his boner because Hermione is too pretty. I was dying. Obviously, he sang Life is a Cabaret, because he always has to sing that at Elsiefest, because that's where the name Elsiefest comes from. Darren sang some original song that he had, like, he was like, never sung this anywhere before. This is the first time. So that was exciting. And, of course, at the end, he was kind of like, well, you guys didn't think I'd end on a song that none of you, like some sort of ballad that none of you had ever heard before, did you? And then he rocked out to DuckTales. Because, of course, he did. Right? And that was how we ended the show on DuckTales. Then there was an encore, obviously. But, yeah, it was great. Elsiefest was so great. I was so sad about missing Jeremy Jordan at the beginning. And the entire beginning. But, the part we saw was highly enjoyable. I'm really glad we didn't, like, give up and throw in the towel through all that bus angst. I mentioned this to Michael as we were walking back through Central Park again at the end. He was like, hell no. He was like, after all of that, if we had decided that it was too much trouble and not come at all, you would have been moping around about it for, like, 2 weeks straight. I was like, that's fair. Yeah, that was it. Elsiefest. It was nice. It was really nice. I'm still depressed about that. Like, this whole, like, I was trying to watch Jeremy Jordan's performances on YouTube afterwards, and I, like, started to watch it, and then I, like, got mad at myself for being such a failure and not having made it to watch it. I, like, got pissed and I threw the remote across the room and I had to, like, leave and calm down. I was like, oh. But that was it. Like I said, it was great. I'm so happy I went. And I'm looking forward to having it all go more smoothly next year. And I'm gonna go.